Let me show you two different sorts of walling. One walling is this here, and from a distance, the distance I'm standing away from it, that looks like a reasonable representation of dry stone walling running around the engine shed area, the maintenance depot. I want to show you the other sort of walling. This is the other sort of walling running at the back of the allotments. Well, actually, it's all around at this end of the layout. It runs behind the houses over there, in front of the pub garden over there. So in use quite a bit at this end of the layout. Okay, so that's grey plastic walling in pieces down there, and then of course we've got picket fences around the houses. So what about the first walling that I showed you? Well, it's this stuff. It's cork wall tiles to make pin boards or something out of. I can't find the right sort of cork, and so when it's placed into a layout like that, the granulation in the cork provides from a distance a representation of something that looks a little bit like stone. And in fact, I find it rather more pleasing than the plastic stone walling back there. But that's just me. The other thing is I'm looking for my fencing. There's the fencing, beautifully disguised. I think this is a great example where you put plenty of materials around it to disguise the fencing. It blends it in very nicely, and I think that's lichen. That's all lichen. That's lichen material in there. Just as an aside, the white splodges on there are PVA dripped into the scatter materials that are put onto there. Down here I've used some piece of grass mat on there, and I've put some scatter over the brown paint on this section, just this easiest to reach part. If I move back, you can see a little bit of the general effect. As I said in the previous video, scenic work is something where you can just keep fiddling and adding to it. I admire people who are able to do something and then move on very quickly, and that's it, it's done. If you get it right first time, it's brilliant, isn't it? And I celebrate that. But yeah, so some of today's work has been this, and I've worked out the towpath. So it's not going to be that side of the canal, so I've dug it out from that side. The towpath is this side. That's a Will's, not cobblestone, sets in there leading up to here. And then at this end, rather than having sets running down, it's a gravel path. Later it may have been tarmacked, but for this purposes I'm just going to do a gravel path down to the lower level of the canal, and therefore there's a bit of a stone wall there. I'm wondering whether it would be appropriate to have a little bit of fencing round there, because that's quite a drop down to the next lower level from there. Anyway, that's just a tiny little wonder. And if I walk backwards, having swung you around, what you will see is all the bits of modelling material scatters in here. Yes, the Will's different little plastic sheets of things in there. That's the nice scatter. That I like the colouring of that one, which is this on here. I like that colour. It's a muted colour, and that's blended Tufts Autumn Blend medium. That's from the Hornby Scale Sceneics range. And unfortunately, the other ones I've got from Javis, apart from the brown, are all rather bright. So I do like that one. Find that quite a good colour to my eye, but still quite a bit of work to do. I'm going to have to see how much of this sticks down when I vacuum it off. Some of it's on very thickly, but I thought, right, I'll put it on thickly and then vacuum it off and see how much is caught onto the PVA mixture that was on there. Right, that's enough chatter about what I've been up to today, except I'm just been on the computer inside. Going to make a cup of tea and have another look and see if I can possibly find this cork. You see how fine that granularity is in there? Maybe I'll just have to go around a few shops and see if it's still available. If you see this video and you're one of the people who has identified a source of that material, I'd be pleased to hear about it. Finally, yes, I'm going to do at the end of this video something to represent a hedge down there. I wonder if that's cork. It might be cork as well. The dampness in here has had quite an effect on some of the card models. You'll see some delequescence on there, lots of delequescence on the wood. The windows in quite a few buildings have come loose and fallen in. The windows falling in on there, and that's delequescence on the surface of that. Interesting, you see, you've got it on that building, but not on the ones at the back. The other thing is, fortunately where the track is, the boards haven't moved too much, but the board join along here has moved. That's a few millimeters. So I'll look at something else. Sorry, I'm moving through. And there, yes, the board join at the back there has moved quite a bit. So few effects from the dampness in here. The one that's going to tax me a little bit, I think, is reattaching windows to the inside of buildings where they've fallen out. There's quite a few fallen out there. That upper story window and the ones at the back. And there's one just about to fall out over there. Wow. Well, you know what? If I do have to remove the buildings, I'm certainly going to be putting lights inside them. I'll have to think about that. Well, I think I've found it. Nitrile bonded cork sheet used for making gaskets. It's fuel and oil resistant material. And I might have guessed that from its flexibility. Normally cork breaks and cracks, especially when it's old and it's dried out. So that does have a rubbery feel to it. So I've ordered some. It's not cheap stuff, £7 for a relatively small strip of it. A strip that's only, what does it say? Oh, no, I don't know where it says, but it's, anyway, a strip of it. Oh, it says up there, 100 millimeters wide. That's a couple of inches, isn't it? 250 millimeters long. And I've ordered the 6mm version of that. Let's see how it looks. I can do some stone walling if I'm still impressed with the look of it.